Hello everyone, I am Punya Agarwal, ACC affiliate and one of the admins of Being ACCA, and in this video I will be discussing some of the mistakes which you should avoid when you are building up your resume. And this video is specially for fresher who are just starting, maybe who has done bachelor's or are ACCA freshers. So I hope that this video helps you, and towards the end I will also be sharing my resume. And if you find that helpful, the formatting you find helpful, you can also make your resume according to that. So let's begin. Yeah. So the first things first is about your formatting and your layout, which is again very important whenever you are making a format. Because if you see this image right here, this formatting is very unprofessional. Your resume has to be the most professional in the most professional manner that you can build upon. Obviously, the content is all right, like objective should be there. Summary, this is not really required, but like the heading is not right. Summary of skills and qualifications. This is not how you do it. Then education is at lower. Education should be at your top. Work experience also should be at your top, if any you have. So this is not the right formatting. This should never be in like a center aligned thing. Even if you see, like, if you are a recruiter and if you get this kind of a resume, you would simply skip it because it's not in the correct formatting, right? Look at this example as well. Here your font is not professional. Your fonts are also very important whenever you are making. So this is not a professional font. You should use your normal font. You don't have to use very calligraphic font or very fancy fonts, which is actually not acceptable as well. So that is the reason that these are some of the mistakes that students usually do when they are making their resume. Another mistake which they can also do is this one. Let's see few examples from here. Here also, in this, if you see what type of a picture it is all right if you put a picture, but again that picture has to be professional, right? It should be like a passport size photo that should be there. Then these things should not never be there in your resume. I'll also discuss this in the later part of the video. Then images like these should never be there in your resume. The formatting here is still better than we did in the earlier one. Again, in this image, if you see here, usually formatting which divides your resume into two halves is not very recommendable. Again, it looks very childish, to be very honest. It doesn't look professional. Our resume has to be professional, right? So this is again a mistake which many students do when they are making their, they want to be as fancy as possible, but mind you, your resume shouldn't be fancy. It should be professional. So let's see next. Now, I have seen so many students, they actually lie in their resume for no reason. Now, the reason I tell you is because they are freshers and they do not have a lot of things to add in their resume. But that is completely all right. Even if you do not have a lot of things in your resume, it is all right that you do not include any false things in your resume, right? Because the recruiter who is recruiting you, the interviewer who is taking your interview, might ask you questions from your resume, and if you yourself do not know, because you have lied in the your resume, they will catch in a second, and that will create a very bad impression. So lying in the resume is never an option, even if your resume is only like a half page. Like for many of the freshers, because they do not have a lot of internships, or like they haven't done a lot of things in your career, so they tend to lie in the resume just to show themselves above somebody. But that is not at all recommendable. Even if your resume is half page, like my resume when I sat for a Big Four interview was just half page, because I didn't do any internships and still I got selected in one, right? So you have to be as authentic and as truthful as you can in your interviews and your resume when you are building one. So lying is not an option in your resume. And otherwise too. Okay. Next is not proofreading. This is again a very, very important aspect. Proofreading means spell check, mainly spell check, grammatical errors check. You shouldn't be having any grammatical errors or any spelling errors in your resume. Again, that creates a very bad impression of yours in front of the, your interviewer or somebody who's seeing your resume, otherwise as well. So if you see here, the spelling is wrong. So spelling, you should always spell check. You should always do a grammatical check. There are many websites as well that do this for you. You can also do this on your normal Google Docs or something like that, but always check your spellings and check your grammatical errors. Do not use a lot of short forms as well. That is also not recommendable. So next point. Just a minute. Using too many fancy words and decoratives. As I said, you do not have to use a lot of jargons in your resume just to look fancy. Like here the person has written hit me up. This basically means that these are my details and you can call me up or you can reach me out too. But this is not a professional language that you use. This is a very, this is a very fancy word which actually turns off the person who's reading your resume. Now, again, if you see from here, self-starter. What do you mean by self-starter? Do not use these kinds of words which are very fancy looking and yet they have like a very simple meaning, but they are fancy looking. Again, not this. This is one thing which I wanted to discuss mainly. There are so many students that use this formatting in so many of their resumes to showcase their skills. Now in this case, how somebody, this is so irrelevant for me that 15% I know Italian language, MS Office I'm 35% proficient in, then sales I'm 100% proficient in, then customer service I'm 90%. This is very this is using this, the resume, the interviewer might not be able to distinguish it. Like I'm not able to understand ki aapko how much MS Office you know. What is 35%? 35, what are you comparing it with, right? So you also have seen many people, like they write their languages English and Hindi, for example, then they put like a bar ki this is the full bar, I know English till here, then Hindi I know till here. So this is very unprofessional. Again, the interviewer might not even understand. So this is not understandable. You can simply write English, Hindi, and any other language you're proficient in, right? So these are some of the basic mistakes that they do and they do not even realize. Now let's move forward with some of the more mistakes. Okay. Now, putting unnecessary information. Again, I have seen that many students, many people put unnecessary information in their resumes. For example, your in the skill set, mainly in the skill set, they put like decision making, emotional intelligence, email marketing. This is all right, okay, but like teamwork, public speaking, diligent, understandable, all these skills are unnecessary. Why? These are just there to, you're just increasing, you're just writing understandable, decision making, emotional intelligence, intelligent, teamwork, team leader. All of these topics are just, you're just again unnecessary because you have to fill your skills. You do not have to fill up your resume. You have to write what is true and what is necessary. So all of these things should never be there in your resume. Any extra thing you should just remove out. For example, like here as well, the person has written so many things like I have 2 children, 10. This is not required. Why would your interviewer see all of these, want to know all of this? Then your address should never be there. Your birth date should not be there. Your marital status should not be there. These are just like extra information which the recruiter might not be interested in and is not interested in. You can put your phone number, you can put your email ID, but you can also put your LinkedIn link if you have a good LinkedIn account. But do not put all of these things. Then again, your skills and hobbies, you can put skills and hobbies, but do not put a lot of them. You have put poker, vegan baking. All of these are very unnecessary. This is actually not required, right? So let's move forward with the next mistake that many students do. Okay. Now, for a fresher, in my opinion, your resume should never exceed a page, because again, you if if you are a fresher, you won't have a lot of things, right? You would not be having a lot of things on your plate, and due to that, what you will do is, if your resume is exceeding like 2 pages or 3 pages, now that means you have put in unnecessary information. And again, as we discussed, that is not required, right? Because see, if for example, I am an interviewer and I am interviewing approximately 20 students today. Now, I won't have the time to read up your 3 pages, right? And I will actually get irritated that why have you put like 3 pages resume when it is not required? You just have to put like a 1 page, resume in which you're explaining all of your necessary details, and that's it. Students think that if their resume is of 2 pages, 3 pages, the interviewer will actually get impressed seeing that you have done so much. But then the interviewer would also know that if you're a fresher, then if your resume is of 3 pages, then that means you have put unnecessary information, and that person will not even consider or bother to read the resume. So that is again a very big red flag. Your resume should not exceed 1 page. If you are a experienced person, then it can go up to maximum 2 pages, not three then as well. Three is like too much. तीन तो फिर then you have written your autobiography in the resume. That is not required again. So next, again, this is an example which I found on the internet. Here all of the major details, major red flags, if you say, are there. For example, your picture again should be professional. Your these things, your address shouldn't be there, right? So this is that your email should be professional looking. It should not be very funny, because we have, come on, we all have like funny emails, but then that shouldn't be there on your resume. You can make a separate email and that can be there on your resume. Then your personal details, this shouldn't be there. Then your interest, all of these again very unnecessary. Your experience, you should never use a narrative. Using narrative styles is, I am assisting, and you can just write ki I was a marketing manager in this domain, so just write that down. And then incomplete information is also sometimes very harmful for you, because you have just written like half of it. You can just explain it like in a line or two, or whatever you did in the company, if you did an internship or did a job or something. So yeah, let's move forward now with my resume. Yeah. So if you see over here, this is actually my resume, but of course I have blurred out certain things which I don't want to make public. So first of all, if you see over here, just a minute. Yeah. If you see over here, I have written my name here in bold letters. So it can also be in the middle. I have written on the right side. It can be on the left side as well, but it is recommendable that either it should be in the center or on the on the right side. Then your email ID should be there. Your phone number can be there. Your, again, as I said, that your LinkedIn account also can be there. So first of all, your educational qualifications, in my opinion, should be there. That education qualification is the basic thing which the employer will look at if you are a fresher, right? So like I wrote my 10th class, 12th class, and then BCom. Then from wherever I did my school name and my college name, then the board that I used, like the board I studied from, then the year in which I passed, and then my CGPA and the percentage should be here. Then your professional qualification, like if you're an ACCA student, then you can write like this, like I'm an affiliate. So I can always mention your years. It creates a good impact if it is like you have completed in like lesser years. If you have took like 4 to 5 years or like more than that, then of course you can skip that out. But you can put your years as well. Then you can have your academic achievements and awards, like whatever achievements did you have in your school, college, whatever you can put with like proper dating, and it should be formatted like the most recent, like the it should be formatted in like year and month wise, right? And then your work experience can be there, like if you're working somewhere, your work experience can be there. Then your internships can be there. Any volunteering work you have done, that can be there. And then little explanation, and that what did you actually do in those roles and job or internships. And then of course your timeline should be there. So this is how that you can build up your resume. And then moving forward little below, your positions and responsibilities in college and school can be there. For example, like I was the president of this, and some of the things that I did. Then this is again some of the things that I did in college, and some of the. So this is actually, this shows you again. I haven't written like leadership skills or organization skills, but this thing shows my leadership skills and organization skills on its own. I haven't written it anywhere, right? Then your other information can be there, like your technical skills that you have a proficiency in MS Word, MS Excel, PowerPoint, whatever you have a proficiency in. Then languages, again, as I said, English, Hindi, and French. French, I have clearly written that I only studied till 8th grade, so that I have not made like those bar charts or bar graphs. I've clearly written that I studied till 8th grade. That's like a level 1 or level 2 only. So that will create a good impact on the person who is actually seeing my resume. So this was all from my side, like this was from my resume. I will also be sharing this empty document of this resume on our Instagram page, which is at the rate being ACCA. So you can check that out if you found this resume to be helpful for you. So if you have any more questions or any more doubts regarding the same, you can comment down below or also reach us out on our Instagram page, which is being ACCA, and I'll be happy to help you. So see you in the next one.